but then we also just break on the inside. And if that's not the sign of a good book, I don't know what is. Hello friends, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you a video that I'm very excited to film, and it is my top 5 favorite book endings of all time. And so I'm really excited to talk about them because for me, a book can be pretty good the whole way through, but if it has an amazing ending, that book can jump anywhere up to all the way to a 5-star just from the ending alone. So the ending to me is something really important. Obviously the book has to be good enough to get you to the ending for you to not want to put it down, but I would say the endings are like the most important part of the story. I originally was gonna make 2 lists, like a wholesome ending, like feel-good ending, and then like a plot twist ending that I really enjoyed. But I realized my list for the plot twist endings were a lot bigger than the wholesome endings, so I decided to scrap that and just go with my all-time favorite like plot twisty kind of endings. Just for me, I feel like those are my all-time favorites. I read a lot of fantasy, kind of dystopian stuff, so the twist ending typically is what happens more often than a wholesome ending. So I am going to be focusing on those types of endings, which tend to be like my favorite anyways. I'm also going to be basing these endings off at the time when I read them, my initial reactions like to the plot twist and just how the ending unfolded, because looking back or through rereads, the original ending might not hit as the same, but I'll use my professional judgment to pick endings that I think really deserve it. And overall, I'm very interested to see also what you guys have to say, so if anytime you relate or disagree with any of my opinions, be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump in to place number 5. My 5th favorite ending that I've read so far in books is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Now, this book is actually a recent read of mine. I read this past month, but this ending I just absolutely loved. It's been a while since I've really sat down and just enjoyed a story, and this was one of the first books I really enjoyed since having this like really long, like 6-month-long reading slump. And this book, the whole way through, really keeps your interest, but especially within the last 100 pages, and as you get closer and closer to like the 50 last pages, so much happens in this book. I don't want to say too much without spoilers, so I'll try my best to use it like out of context, but there's a lot of almost misdirection, I want to say. So the premise of this book is a high school girl trying to solve a supposed solved murder case. There was a girl who was murdered supposedly by her boyfriend, who then killed himself afterwards. But our main protagonist, Pip, she believes something else happened that night because she didn't think that he actually killed her at all or killed himself. So she starts to uncover pieces of this mystery, and I feel almost the way she makes us believe who is the suspect almost misguides us from what's actually happening, and you have to piece together all these different clues. And honestly, if you read this book and are able to guess the ending, props to you, because there was no way I saw any of this stuff coming. But I really enjoyed this book, and it really just kept me on the edge of my seat, which is something I haven't felt in a long time. And honestly, I gave this book a 4 to 5 stars because of just how engaging it was and how much I enjoyed the story. It's been a while since I've had that like can't put the book down feeling, and so it was really nice to have it with this book. And like I said, the end really sealed everything off so nicely, and I would really recommend this book. Now, okay, I'll explain. But in number 4, I am going with They Both Die in the End by Adam Silvera. I will say, for this entire time I'm holding up this book, I will be talking about spoilers. I can't not talk about spoilers for this book, so just move on to when I hold up the next book and you won't hear anything spoilery for this book. 3, 2, 1, you're gone. Great. Okay, so the reason why this ending is one of my favorites is because the title itself, They Both Die in the End, gives you the ending. And so I'm assuming if you're watching this, you either read the book or you just don't care about spoilers, but in case you're the latter, this book follows 2 boys and their last day alive, because in this world there's a company called Deathcast, and they call you right in the morning between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. telling you that you're gonna die some point in the next 24 hours. These 2 boys end up getting connected and spending the whole day together, and now I'm really gonna get spoilery, so it's like the last possible moments. It's almost midnight of the next day, and they're like, did we make it through the whole day? Are we gonna stay alive? And Adam Silvera keeps you on the edge of your seat, waiting to see if these 2 boys stay alive. And then they both die in the end. And that's the crazy part, because you know they both die in the end right from the beginning. The title of this book says it all. But still at the end, I was heartbroken when they both died in the end. That is one of the reasons why I love this book so much and why I love the ending, because even though you know what's gonna happen the entire time, he still gives you hope. Hope the entire time that maybe these 2 are different. Maybe they're gonna make it out alive, but unfortunately they don't. In my number 3 spot, I am going with one people might be surprised by, but it is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. So I'm hoping at this point in time, people know what The Hunger Games is about. If not, this is the second book, so I also don't really want to say what it's about in case you want to not be spoiled. So I'll try my best to keep it brief. It's mainly the last sentence. When I read this book, I was like, oh my god, I have to read the next book, read now the second. And I might just jump into spoilers at this point because I'm hoping people have either read the books or seen the movies at this point. So skip to the next part where I hold the next book up if you don't want to be spoiled. But once Katniss is rescued from the arena, everything after that, I was like, oh my god. We learned of this whole rebel plan, people behind it, but then also the most iconic line, but Gale is not one to keep secrets from me. Katniss, there is no District 12. And when I read that the first time, I was like, boy, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? And so because of that, I was so shocked to my core, and I think I read this book when I was like 13. That was the first time I read this book, and I was just shook to my core. I was like, how could a whole district be destroyed? How is there nothing left? Where are they going? And I just had so many questions, and because of that, this ending, while it's really subtle, I guess if you want to call it, like, it's not like there was so much build up to it. It's literally just one sentence that really blew me away, but it was just so impactful and made me so much more excited to read the book after Mockingjay. So because of that, this book is number 3 on my list. And number 2 on my list, my second all-time favorite ending, I'm going with The Wicked King by Holly Black. For this part, it's not super spoilery, it's just brief spoilers, so I won't mention any like the specific plot things or anything, but just keep an ear out for what I'm saying. The Cruel Prince trilogy is one of my all-time favorite trilogies, especially The Wicked King though. I feel we got so much more character development and plot progression, and just so many more interesting things happened in The Wicked King. And especially the ending, it just takes everything you hope for your main character, Jude, everything she wants, throws it out the window. It gives the reader no hope. No hope for the future. And so you pick up the Queen of Nothing. You're just like, how on earth can things be fixed? You don't know. And so the whole story builds up, and personally for me, I love Jude Duarte so much. She's one of my all-time favorite protagonists. You want to hate her, but you can't because you love her so much. And she's such a great protagonist narrating the story, and I just love hearing everything she has to say. And so when she works so hard for everything and things don't go to plan, your heart just hurts for her. That's why I think The Wicked King is my favorite in the series, because we get so much great build-up, so much great stuff is happening, but then we also just break on the inside. And if that's not the sign of a good book, I don't know what is. So hence The Wicked King is number 2 on the spot. Just Holly Black, ugh, a genius, literally a genius. And now we are in the number 1 spot, and I am very excited for this number 1 spot because, psych, I actually have 2 books for this number 1 spot because these 2 books I love like equally. I could not pick which one I loved more because both of them, especially the first time I read them, were so impactful to me. We're gonna start off with the slightly older one though, which is none other than one of my all-time favorite series, Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Now, if you've read this book, you know what is happening, and you know what I'm talking about. And for me, I did not pick up on any of the foreshadowing that happened in the book. I did not sense anything like this was happening. And then all of a sudden, bam, punch right in the face. So that's why I love this book, because every single time I reread this book, I think I've read this book at least 4+, 5+ times. Every single time, even when I know what's happening, I get goosebumps, I get chills every single time because it's just, I feel it's so well done. That's just me personally, but I just love it, and I think she does such a good job at writing it, in my own personal opinion. Maybe it's just because I love this series, I have a little bit of bias towards it, but I love it so much, and I love the characters in this story, and I feel they all help make this climactic point so good. Unless I'm the only person that just didn't see it coming, so that would kind of suck for me. But in my opinion, I do think this book really, really was good, especially with this plot twist ending. And lastly, my other number 1 read was actually a book I finished earlier this year, which I think was the first book I finished, or close to it, and it is Caraval. First off, love this trilogy. I've only read the first 2 books, I still have to read the 3rd one, but I have to imagine it will slap just as hard as the other 2. I loved both of them so much, especially Caraval. I don't know how to say it without spoilers. I'm gonna do my best. The way the story is built around is we have our main character Scarlet, and she, to try to save herself and her sister, she participates in this competition called Caraval. And the goal is to figure out all these different clues to try to win the grand prize at the end. And everything she goes on through this adventure, not only builds her character, builds on the plot, but this plot twist ending, one thing after another, is so good. I'm just gonna say a few spoilers because I have to get it off my chest. So just skip to this time in the video, whenever that is. But spoilers starting now. When Scarlet finds Tella at the end, she's like, I did it. And Tella's like, Scarlet, you did it. Don't worry, you're safe. Scarlet is still in the mindset that everything is like real. But then you find out at the end, literally everything was a game. And they tell you, remember, it's only a game. It's the slogan on the book. It's said to her twice. People throughout the story tell her that. And I personally, I was with Scarlet the whole time. I was like, Tella, are you dumb? It's not a game, it's real. And then it was all a game. And for that reason, and that reason only, is why this book is one of the best books I've ever read, because of that amazing ending. I honestly don't think anyone could have predicted it. If you are, please tell me how. I just think you're like a superhuman. You were just on some next level stuff. Like, that's it. There's no other explanation for it. But yeah, I just love Caraval so much. It's one of my all-time favorite books, and I just think that ending makes it so iconic, and that's just why I love it so much. Anyways, those are my top 5, technically 6, favorite book endings of all time. Talking about these make me so happy. Like, wow, amazing. I hope if you haven't read any of these books that you do, because I would recommend them all, because these endings are just so interesting to read about and to just be a part of an experience. Especially, I would say Caraval. If you have not read any of the other books, I would recommend Caraval, I think, the most, because I think it is one of the best written books with the best rewarding ending at the end. So that's my little tidbit there. But I hope you all enjoyed this video and all my thoughts I had to say. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you share any of the same opinions as me, or share with me one of your favorite books and what kind of ending it has and if you love it or not. Anyways, that is all for today's video. I really enjoyed it. I hope you all did as well. And stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you all very soon in a new video. So until then, bye.